Welcome back, guys. It is vendor booth time. As you know or should know, I had just recently opened up a vendor booth a couple months ago in a place called Shoppers Paradise here local to me. And another opportunity that I'm very excited about has opened up, so I have decided to move my booth. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, my booth was doing decently well over at the other location. They're still a great place. They still have awesome booths over there. You guys should still absolutely go check them out if you're on the west side of Evansville. Lots of cool stuff there and lots of booths with great products and things that you should check out. Now, I have decided to move on from there because another amazing location has opened up. It is on Franklin Street in Evansville, and it is way more my vibe and more of what I was looking for to rent a booth at. So I'm very, very excited about it. It is called Evansville Estate Emporium. They are open, officially open, but they have not done any type of grand opening or anything yet, as things are still kind of falling into place and they're trying to get everything gathered around, but they are open for everybody to come in and shop, and then they'll be announcing a grand opening at another time. I would love to take you guys on a tour of this new place. It is absolutely beautiful. It's ran by Julie and Shelly. They are two sweet and adorable women who are local to Evansville. So they both have experience in the furniture business as well as some experience with antiques. Julie is a certified estate liquidator and personal property appraiser, so she has a lot of knowledge and a ton of knowledge to share when it comes to special pieces, especially those old beautiful pieces that have all of that character and just stories to share. Now, the Evansville Estate Emporium, it's like an upscale consignment / salvage store. It's very, very nice in there. They have everything laid out absolutely beautiful. They have lots of antiques, lots of just pieces that have so much to offer and beautiful, beautiful stories to tell, some from new to old. And then they also have an area for local artists and vendors to be able to set up shop and share their products as well. They have, like I said, all kinds of beautiful treasures. It's just full of character and collectibles, and it's definitely worth your time to stop in there and check it out. It is located at 1732 West Franklin Street A. It shares a building with the dog washing place. It just slipped my mind what the name of that is. I don't remember, but I'll put it up on the screen. But yeah, they're really into supporting the local community. They're very excited to be joining the Franklin Street. They love their vibe and everything that it has to offer, and they're really looking to give back to our community and really start to get involved as time goes on and they get more settled in. If you need a little bit more of a idea of where they're located, it's right across from the Evansville Honda and where the railroad tracks are on Franklin Street. It's where that black gated parking lot is, and it just shares a building there with the, like I said, the pet place. Again, the name is just slipping my mind. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing this past week and a half, 2 weeks, is moving my booth over. I wanted to rent the space. I just felt like my stuff fit in a lot better there when it comes to like reselling and my, I upcycle things and thrift flip and all of that, whatever you want to call it. I feel like my items would fit in here perfectly. So they have it upstairs. So as you're walking through, you'll see a staircase on your left. You go up there and you'll see that there are other booths that people have rent. Some of it is, I don't want to say more of the same, but more of like the collectibles, antiques. And then I know right now there's someone who does like wreaths and things in there. There's my booth. There are several other booths that have not yet gone and actually got set up, but they're hoping to have a really cool spot. So I wanted to have a spot with a wall. They had this perfect place for me. However, it was painted plywood. I wanted to make sure that I spruced up the place and really put my reflection on it. You guys know that I want my, my style and my aesthetic to reflect through and to reflect through my items so that you really just get a sense of me and everything that I do. So I was able to get some contact paper. I wasn't really sure if it was gonna stick to the plywood or not. I was taking a leap of faith. So I did order some contact paper off of Amazon, some really cheap stuff. Like I got this stuff for like $6 and some change, I believe, which that's pretty awesome. I can link it in my affiliate links if any of you guys are interested. It does have like a good texture to it. So it's very thin because it is contact paper, but it does have like the slightest texture to it. And I went with a faux brick because I was hoping that, you know, the brick patterns would be enough to break up that plywood texture from underneath, and also, you know, all of the rough edges and divots that are in the plywood itself. And it actually, to my surprise, worked. So what I did is I picked up some white duct tape and I took my rolls of contact paper, which I will say you get what you pay for. So some of the bricks didn't quite line up. Like this brick print would be, you know, a little bit bigger on the next contact sheet and so on. And I just lined it up the best I can. Overall, I think it looks really good. And when everything gets put in, it's going to be fine. But some of the colors were slightly off. It was just, again, you get what you pay for, but it turned out pretty okay. So what I did is I wiped down the wall just with some wet paper towels and let it dry. I picked up some white duct tape and I just wanted to make sure it was really going to stick to the wall. So I did a strip of white duct tape along the entire top of that wall. And don't mind what the top looks like with the insulation and stuff up there. They are going to be sprucing that up at a little bit later time, so it'll all come together. But I just took that white duct tape across the top. That way the top of the contact paper could really adhere to something and stick to that duct tape, and then it just kind of like falls down the wall. So it actually stuck way better than I anticipated. So I just took my time to try to make sure it was nice and straight all the way down. And when I got down to the floor, I would cut off the excess and then put it all down, push it all down and make sure there was no air bubbles and all of that. So I just did that over and over again, and I took a piece of duct tape and I put it on the top and over that wall a little bit just to try to make sure that that top is not starting to peel down or like unravel. And like I said, I just did that over and over. I was just as careful as possible to line everything up, make sure that, you know, each section was straight. I did have to adjust at the top every now and then, you know, if the brick didn't quite line up as I started the next section, and just cut off the portions that I don't need. I had to, you know, kind of work around the windows, so I just kind of would get it and drape it over, cut it down around the windows. I will say, you know, with the plywood, with all of the, you know, there's like raised portions, divots, all of this stuff. Every time it would hit one of those, it'd kind of shift my paper, so sometimes keeping it straight was a process, but I just figured out my groove and what works best for me, and I was able to make it happen. I ended up taking the duct tape not only just across the top, but I also did it around the frame of the windows. One, I did it to make sure that the contact paper wasn't going to peel where it was touching that because of the raised surface, but also to kind of give like a faux frame to that window since they're just plain metal windows, just to kind of bring the whole space together. Now I will say it was very hot. It's summer, it's hot. The fan upstairs are still working on getting all of that stuff up and running and wired and stuff. So I was running around like a mad woman, just sweating. Mind your business. You don't see how I look. Listen, some of us women were made for beauty and grace, and some of us were made for sweat and chaos. And I didn't get to pick which one, okay? Once that was done, I also wanted to put a floor down in my booth area. So we had some extra flooring from our upstairs renovations that I was able to pull out of the garage and take with me. This stuff is very easy. It's like the acrylic vinyl flooring that just kind of snaps together. So I just laid it down, and as I would get to the section where I would need to cut it, I would measure out what I need. I would make sure I was on the correct end that would fit in, you know, because it all kind of locks in place. Measure what I need, take my pencil and just draw myself a nice straight line using the measuring tape to make sure it was straight. And then I would score it around 5 times with a good sturdy box cutter, and then turn it upside down and just pop it, and it'll just, you know, snap right off straight down that line, where as long as you have a good score to it. And it's actually really, really easy to do. And then you just kind of You lay it down into the track and have it lined up, and then it kind of pops into place. Sometimes it's easy enough to pop it with your finger and then hit it with a nice soft mallet. Sometimes you have to use the mallet just to get it to stick at all, just kind of depends. But as long as it's lined up, it'll go right in. So I just did that over and over and got my floor laid, and I think it looks really, really good with the brick and bringing everything together. And once all of that was done, it wasn't really a hard job, it just was a lot of time. Then it was time to put all of my items in. I'm very, very thankful for my boyfriend and his dad. They saved me a lot of time. I was very stressed out about when I was going to fit everything in, and they surprised me by going and taking down my booth for me, getting everything put together. That way, once I was done with the contact paper and stuff, I could just go straight into organizing and setting up my new booth without having to take a 2-hour break to go break down. So they are amazing, very, very sweet, very thankful, and very thoughtful. So I had everything I needed. I just started placing it out. I wasn't quite sure on my vision here. I was not sure if I wanted to cut my shelf, put it in different areas, or what. I was trying to figure out what was gonna work best, and then all of a sudden it clicked, which is what I was waiting for, because I didn't really have a vision for how I was gonna have this look. So I was able to take my 2 folding shelves, and face them in towards the booth, because I don't have walls on this one, as you can tell. And I didn't want to block the entire wall off, because it would really close up my space and take away a lot of room that I need for items. So I set them out, and they fit really perfectly for there, and they kind of give like a defined space to my new booth. So I went ahead and put those there, and then decided I was gonna hang my shelf. It's like just over 6 foot long, right underneath the window, so like where the windowsill would be, across there, so that I still have all the wall space at the top, but also kind of bring that window into the space and make it kind of look cohesive and as if it was a part of it. And so that's what I wanted to do. And you also may notice that I contact papered the entire wall. I did get permission for that. There's no one renting the booth next to me at the moment, and so when I was doing it, I really thought it would look great if it was one cohesive space instead of just like my booth, their booth, other people's booth. I really think it kind of brought the area together, just having it all flow as one. So I'm very thankful that they allowed me to do that. And so that's what I was trying to do here, is make the windows a part of everything. So I got my shelf up. I wasn't able to hang it myself, so Austin was able to run over and help me get it hung so that I could start placing the items. And just started putting everything out on the shelves, holding things up, seeing what they need to be. The only downfall to the plywood is that, you know, I have to use nails to hang things. I was thinking about command strips, but I'm scared they would rip the contact paper, and I put so much time and effort into that. That was the last thing I wanted to do. So I'm just using the smallest but strongest nails that I can. So I know my items won't fall, but they're not gonna leave huge holes in the contact paper. Obviously, the downfalls with that is that as an item sells, you know, the next item may not fit in that exact spot. So moving things around is going to be a little more complicated than having pegboard, but I think it's worth it to have such a good look and such a good aesthetic that we have here. I am very, very happy with how this turned out. I do still want to kind of fix the top. I didn't have my staple gun to add some greenery across the top, so I need to do that. I have a few more items like my mirrors and a couple other things that I want to take and get them into the booth, but for now I am very thrilled with how this turned out. I would love to hear your guys' opinion. Leave me a comment below how you think it went. If you guys have any suggestions for me on how to make it look a little better or how to save some space, always welcome to hear your advice and take it into consideration. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I would love to have you with me on my crafting journey. We do a little bit of everything on this channel. If you're returning, I love you. Thank you so much for all your support. I would not be here without you, and I'm so grateful. I'm going to take you guys into a closer look of my booth, and I'll see you next time.